Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson joins today's show, and we're talking about reaction to O.J. Simpson being granted parole. Plus, Dickerson offers his advice for Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott. We've got a stacked show today. Skip, Shannon, let's debate. Happy Friday. Let's start with O.J. Simpson. He was granted parole yesterday in Nevada after serving nearly 9 years for armed robbery, assault, and kidnapping. Simpson can be released as early as October. Let's take a listen to yesterday's hearing.
And we have that you are currently, well, very recently turned 90 years old. 90, I'm sorry about that. You look great for 90. How about we take 2 decades off and call you 70?
I've always thought I've been pretty good with people, and I've basically spent a conflict-free life. You know, I'm not a guy that ever got into fights on the street and with the public and everybody. You know, right now I'm at a point in my life where all I want to do is spend time with as much time as I can with my children and my friends, and I'm not looking to be involved with the media.
Mr. Simpson, I do vote to grant parole when eligible, and that will conclude this hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shannon, are you surprised he'll be released?
Am I surprised? Based on everything that I was hearing, that he's been a model citizen. Skip, they say in Nevada they base it on 11 point. They got 11 steps. You get 2 plus 2, so he could be as high as 22, or he can be 0, or you can get negative points, or you can get plus 2. Given his age, given the factor of when he committed his first crime, he had a lot of things working in his favor. So, but to think it's kind of like anything, Skip, when you go to trial. You might think you know what those 12 men and women are going to decide, but you really don't.
Yep.
A lot of people say, well, it's a slam dunk. OJ's getting out. But you don't know what those board members are deciding. And what I wanted to hear, Skip, and like I told you before, if he had to go back in, okay, fine. If he got out, either way, I was good with it. I just wanted to see him early on show remorse, show contrition. And I didn't see that. I saw the same OJ that led him to get into prison, which was narcissistic, combative at times. Oh, I'm OJ, I'm charismatic, I'm going to win you over with my charm. Skip, when they ask you, they don't want you to relitigate the case. They don't want you to tell them why you went to the room. I'm sorry. I'm so disappointed in myself that I let my family down, I let my friends down, I let myself down. Don't explain, oh, I was just going to get my stuff. The guy told me they had my stuff. They had photo albums of my kid. They had my wife's. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear you apologize for your actions. Don't try to explain it away. Oh, I was just going to get my stuff. Oh, and the state of California ruled that was my stuff. I have it now. But did the state of California rule you can take a gun in there and go get it back? He was kept trying to explain it away. Well, they said, okay, what about restitution? You're ordered to pay $3,500 in restitution. He's looking at his attorney. Restitution? OJ, you're about to go home and collect between $1.8 and $2 million. You're also about to get $20,000 to $25,000 a month. Just say, oh yeah, if we haven't made restitution, I will have no problem making restitution. You're trying to get out. Why are you being combative? Why are you trying to explain away what you did? They don't want to hear that. They want to hear remorse. They want to hear contrition. You're in here. Well, if all the guy had to told me, if Bruce had my stuff, and I've known Bruce for a long time. Well, if you know the guy that Bruce ended up testifying on his behalf, if you knew him, why not just call him? Bruce, you got my stuff. How could you do your friend like that? Why would you try to, if you need money, hey, let me see what I can do for you, Bruce, but don't sell my stuff.
By the way, Bruce testified on his
on his behalf.
yesterday.
Bruce, what, Fromong?
Fromong. And again, he called him Buddy yesterday.
Yeah.
He called him Juice.
Yeah.
Remember, he sells memorabilia. He's like an idolater by trade,
Yeah.
right? So he loves him some Juice.
Skip, I had a good indication that he might, because one of the parole board members came out there with a Kansas City Chiefs tie on. So I said, okay, now he got one guy on his side. OJ didn't play for the Chiefs,
No,
but he's a football fan.
I agree.
So I felt really, if I'm OJ, I'm looking at that like, okay, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good where I am right now. And then, Skip, the guy asked OJ, how do you think you'll be better served in the community than in prison? I'm like, OJ is probably thinking, I'm about to go home, get $2 million, $25,000 a month, and you think, how would I be better served in a gated community as opposed to prison? I can eat filet, or I can be in prison and eat Spam and Vienna sausages. You tell me. It was a show, and Skip, I just can't believe. Normally when networks interrupt normal schedule, presidents get inaugurated, there's a serious catastrophe somewhere in the United States or around the world. They interrupted their normal schedule to show OJ parole hearing.
Okay.
There's still some fascination.
No, not some.
A lot, I guess.
This is an extended Bronco chase that you are watching.
Think about it.
Started with that.
He started Court TV, started because of him.
You
There was
got
a
it.
lot of networks that were started because of him.
You got it.
I just don't know. Now he got to the point, Skip, later down the line, he showed a little remorse, but he's still OJ. He can't help himself, Skip. He was still that same arrogant narcissist that got himself into this mess and thought he could smooth these people by just, well, let me tell you why I got here. Let me tell you how it happened. Instead of just showing contrition and remorse at the beginning, he didn't do that. So, but I guess given his history and just basing it on the points, he was at the low level and he's going home in October. But if that's, hopefully that's never me, and I don't think it's gonna be, Skip, he's still gotta be in there 2 months. I wanna come up for parole at 10 o'clock, and by noon, if you're gonna grant it, I wanna be walking out of there. Because now somebody might try him or do, I'm going to solitary. I don't wanna talk to nobody. I don't wanna see nobody. Don't nobody call me, because he's still got 2 months in there. He's not going home just yet.
All of which is why everything I heard and saw from O.J. Simpson yesterday was glaring reason after glaring reason after glaring reason that he should have been denied his parole.
Deny it, Skip?
Absolutely. Silly me, again, this stuff is way over my head, all this legal jargon, but I thought that the Parole Commission would at least take one more day to deliberate about what they saw and heard from said OJ, right?
Yep.
But instead, they immediately slammed down the gavel and said, you're a free man, obviously on October 1st. And it came clear to me that this was just going through the motions.
Yeah.
They were just rubber stamping what had already been decided.
Correct.
That clearly, because he had been, as you point out, a model prisoner, that he had not been, quote unquote, written up a single time in 9 years in that correctional facility, that it was already decided that he would be free to go, that this was just procedural to go through these motions.
Steps.
So to me, I step back from it and I say, okay, I hear the legal experts all say what you said, that he served more than enough time for what he was accused and convicted of this time.
Yes.
So can we agree on that? He paid his dues
Yeah.
for this crime.
More than.
More than paid his dues. So I get that, but I still thought that you not only do you need to show just a little bit of remorse, but you can't be defiant in your parole hearing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He was flat out defiant. He clearly thinks that he was wrongly accused and wrongly convicted of this crime.
He
of
did.
this crime.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he went on and on about it was my stuff, and the state of California even sent me back my stuff once I was incarcerated. And when one of the commissioners, one of the members of the Parole Commission,
yeah.
dared to cross-examine him about this, he got angry. He fired back. He leaned forward, and I saw, and again, I told you, I got to know him pretty well. I saw a little flash of that rage that's in him
Yeah.
that I believe, most people believe, turned into murderous, jealous rage once upon a time as you
Back
remember.
in what, 93?
Yeah, 93. And it was chilling to me to see that on TV. It made me sit back because that was pretty scary. And then he went into this thing about, I've never pulled a gun on anyone in my life. But then he went one step farther. He said, and I quote, no one has ever accused me of pulling any weapon on them. What? No one? You were accused of killing two people, not just killing them, butchering two people with a knife. No one's ever accused you? Okay, I told you, I spent a week with OJ and then I interviewed him numerous times after that. So I have some insight into his personality. He is a shrewd operator when it comes to anything media, anything public.
Yep.
This is just my 2 cents. He wanted to even subtly get it on the record that, by the way, just for everybody's information, I did not kill my ex-wife and her companion. Okay? He wanted that's what he's saying with that statement. It sounds naive, but that's a powerful statement for him to say. So you want to talk about denying? You want to talk about defiant? you want to talk about, wow. So then ESPN reports that even in prison, he was treated like a king. I didn't know this. And my friend Mark Schwartz had a nice report from the Correctional Institute that OJ somehow, I don't know, you can pay for what you eat. I don't know, that he paid more than anybody, so he ate like a king.
Right.
And that other inmates served him his meals and were very careful to make sure it was just right for him, exactly the way he wanted it. So again, has he learned any lesson? No. He's still OJ, right?
Yeah, and that's what he thinks. Skip.
Okay, so he still thinks potentially he's above the law. And so I'm told that because he's 70 and he's, quote, no threat to anybody. Well, are you sure he's no threat? I'm not saying he's going to commit a crime, but again, he even tried to dismiss what happened with the armed robbery. Yeah. He said, I should have never allowed these alleged security guys to help me because it turned out they were only trying to help themselves. So what happened, they went into this room to retrieve his stuff, and two of his goons, or whatever they were, his security guys, were armed, right? OJ wasn't armed, but they were armed.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's trying to blame that on them. Well, it was OJ's idea to go retrieve his stuff with weapons, right?
The guy that set this whole thing up has OJ on tape. You got the gun, you packing heat.
Yeah, right.
So for him to say, that's why if OJ didn't know they had guns, OJ would have testified on his own defense. But he didn't testify because he didn't want to open himself up to cross-examination. He knew he was lying, Skip, and still, instead of saying, you know what, God, I'm sorry. I put my family, I put some of my friends, I don't know how many of those he have, I put them in a very bad position. And I put my friend, Bruce, they drew a gun on him. I should have gone up in the room. I should have gone to the proper authorities and say, they're trying to sell my stuff. We just saw Madonna get an injunction about a Tupac letter. So what you do, you go through the authorities. But this is OJ's mindset. I'm OJ. I'm going to go get my stuff back. And like I said, Skip, in 1950, you probably could have gone in that hotel room and got your stuff back. And they wouldn't have said a word. But not now. And OJ, well, you know, I've always got along with everybody. I got friends. OJ, do you realize what happened? When this thing, the first trial, do you realize they tore your house down? They didn't want the memory that you used to live in that neighborhood. Skip, think about this. They took his stuff, his Heisman, the Rose Bowl jersey, and a lot of his stuff, and they burned it on the courthouse steps. I'm going to take it a step further. They discontinued the Ford Bronco. Think about that, Skip. They discontinued the model Ford Bronco. Now, it's been reported they're going to bring it back in production in, say, 2020, 2021. When have you ever known them? They took a vehicle out of production. They burned it. Skip, the Amityville Horror, the house with those people in upstate New York, they left it up. The Exorcist, they left the house up. They tore OJ's house down because they wanted to wipe all memory that he ever lived in this neighborhood. Skip, if it was me, I'm going to go there. Guys, thanks for hearing me. I'm sorry I'm before you today. But I'm before you today because I put myself here. I put my family in a position. I miss birthdays, I miss graduation, possibly miss the birth of my grandchildren because of something that I did was dumb. And I'm sorry. And if you were to grant me parole, I promise you, I give you my word that I'm never coming back before you again. I am sincerely and truly deeply sorry.
Okay.
That's what they want to hear.
I didn't hear. I heard he was sorry that he got caught up in this. You know,
I should have never been. I should have never went up in that. But I was just going to get my stuff back.
Right.
They had my photo album. They had pictures of my kids. I heard they had my wife's wedding band. Okay, that's why they have the authorities. You tell them that somebody stole your stuff and they have it in said room, and I'd like to get it back. You don't get people with guns because once you enter that room and they try to leave and you don't let them, that's kidnapping. Once you take that stuff and you have a weapon, it's called armed robbery. And if you didn't have a weapon, it's called strong armed robbery, which in either case, and in Nevada, that's the low step right next to murder. But if somebody Skip, you know when firearms are involved, somebody make a sudden move, somebody's going to be hero,
I got it.
and that gun goes off, you kill him. OJ would have never got out of jail.
Nope. So here was the clincher for me. He was asked by one of the commissioners, did you undergo the Alcoholics Anonymous counseling that you said you would? So he had a 2013 parole hearing, and he volunteered, well, I'll undergo a session with Alcoholics Anonymous. I'll go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Yesterday he said, no, I thought about doing it for my kids, but I don't have a problem with alcohol. What? That should be reason enough. That should be time out. Wait a second. We need to talk about this, commissioners. Don't we? Don't we need to reconvene tomorrow? And right? Don't we need to discuss? Shouldn't that be reason enough to deny parole? I mean, to me.
Okay. If I need to get out, what do I need to do? Do I need to go to AA? Okay. Do I need to learn how to cook? Okay. Do I need to learn computers? Okay. Do I need to learn gardening or woodworking? Whatever I need to do, Skip, I'm trying to show you that I'm sorry that I am truly remorseful for what I did and my behavior that led me here. But I want to show you what you're asking me to do. I'm going to do it. And I don't feel that it's beneath me. You don't get to say, well, I didn't think I needed it, anger management, but I was doing more of that for my kids in case, negotiation, because, you get in here and guys get hot-headed and, I negotiated a lot of things.
Yeah.
OJ, I'm like, OJ, you're going to talk yourself into another 9 years. And then his attorney got up and I say, he about to tack on 2 more for you.
Yep.
He gets up and reads a letter from that some commissioner wrote, Skip. He said, well, I haven't even read it yet. Why would you do that? What if that letter said OJ should stay in for another 5 years? What if it said OJ did something to me years ago? I'm like, where did you get this guy from? Did you just thumb through the yellow pages okay,
Well,
there's an attorney.
Those commissioners, one of them wearing a Kansas City Chiefs tie, just rubber stamp, juice is loose, and he is loose. And I'm predicting a reality show next. Now, he can't make money off the reality show, but he can
he can make money, but somebody else is going to get it.
Somebody's going to get it, because he owes now $60 million with the interest on the 33. But it doesn't matter because he got his pension from the NFL. They said he collected maybe up to $600,000 just while he was in prison.
Right.
I think he'll be okay.
He got the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, he's got that.
He's in a very different position than most criminals that leave the system because he's not going to have to go get a job, Skip. A lot of people leave the institution, they have to get a job. But then once you you check that box convicted felon, everybody's looking at you sideways. So it's hard for you to get work, and it's more likely that you're going to end up back in there because how am I going to survive if nobody will hire me? It's supposed to be rehabilitation, but you don't always get that. But some people are not willing to give you a chance. They see convicted felon, Skip. They're like, nah, bro, you can't start here.
Yep. Made in America, only in America.
No mercy. Our next guest holds the NFL record for most rushing yards in a season. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1999. Eric Dickerson, welcome back to Undisputed.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Eric, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll say this much here. That's my favorite football player. I met OJ back in 1979. I was a recruit coming to SC. And A couple of us guys saw him. I wanted to go over and say something to him. They said, no. I said, I'm going to go say something to him anyway.
Really?
So I walked over to him and said, how you doing, Mr. Simpson? My name is Eric Dickerson. I'm from Sealy, Texas, and I'm a running back. He said, really? He said, SCU recruiting? I said, yes, sir. He went to the game. They playing Michigan at that time. They playing for the Rose Bowl. And I said, I had 2,000 yards. He said, really? And I said, one day I'd like to break your record. And he said, well, okay, well, good luck, young man. So that was my first meeting with OJ. But I feel like this. I feel like that what he went to prison for this was, they wasn't right. I mean, I ain't gonna say, that's a slap on the wrist. But now, people ask me about the trial, did I see the trial? I never watched one segment on it. Never watched the trial, never watched the making of OJ, making of a murder, whatever it was, OJ in America. I never watched that either.
You're talking about the murder trial.
Yeah, the murder trial, but I'm talking about the TV series that they showed.
Okay.
I never watched that either. But I do feel like this. If he murdered those people, he deserved to be in prison. But do I feel like he should get out now? I feel like he should be released. I mean, he's a 70-year-old man. I mean, I know if that's my family, I would probably feel different. If my wife or my kid, my daughter got murdered, I'm sure I'd feel different about it. There's no doubt about that. But when I look at the crime that he committed, should he spend 33 years in prison? Absolutely not. I mean, I think 9 years is enough of that. And they can't retry him on the murder. But like I said, I don't know enough about it to talk about it. I feel like it's almost like the Mike Tyson thing. Mike Tyson said that I didn't rape that young lady, but I did other things that I should have went to jail for. So I think that's how I feel with OJ also.
For me, I mean, I heard things about OJ, and I met him too. As a matter of fact, I met OJ when he had them ugly-ass shoes on in Kansas City. But that's neither here nor there. For me, I left OJ a long time ago when he left the community. And a lot of people, I get asked a lot. It's like, well, why, if he left the black community, why were you guys so in his corner when the trial was going on? It wasn't like we were in his corner. We just wanted the other side to see how we feel.
For once.
For one time, we wanted to have a guy that had money, that could get the best of the best, and let you see how it feels. Once OJ was free, we're like, forget OJ. We ain't nobody love no OJ. We just wanted you to feel what we felt. And that's what happened, Skip. A guy named Brian Stevenson, who had a TED Talk, he said, if you're wealthy and guilty, you're less likely to go to prison if you're poor and innocent. When you got the means, when you can get a Johnny Cochran, you can get an F. Lee Bailey, you can get a Robert Shapiro and a Barry Sheck. It was dubbed the Dream Team before the Dream Team. So think about that. So he had the best that money could buy. Whether he did it, I think for the most, we think OJ did it. But there's a lot of people that got away with stuff that happened on the other side, and that's what it was about. And it was drawn right down the middle. Because if you look at the George Zimmerman, we think he killed Trayvon Martin. We know Casey Anthony killed her daughter, but she got off. So you deal with it. So OJ, you got out. The question I have for you now, are you gonna stay out? Are you gonna stay out of trouble? You got a reprieve the first time, and you took your butt and got in some trouble. Now, the third time, you might not be so lucky. I believe they gave him 33 years for being dumb, ED.
I agree.
Going up in there trying to get some photo albums. Like the lady said in the documentary, she said, we got him off the first time. You on your own. Hit it with them deuces.
By the way, you just mentioned F. Lee Bailey. Once upon a time, as powerful an attorney as there was in this country, I read yesterday, he is now broke and down on his luck, and he says he was made a pariah for representing an OJ who got off. Obviously, Johnny Cochran was the front man, but he was part of the Dream Team.
Yes.
And I'm sure his expertise contributed to the right? The
If
acquittal.
I'm not mistaken, he was disbarred for some other stuff.
It was definitely other stuff, but he says that he was made to be a pariah as a white lawyer who represented OJ.
Correct.
So back to Eric. Did you get to know OJ after that?
Yes, I knew OJ and still know OJ. I mean, I saw OJ after the trial. Matter of fact, a couple of months before that happened, the murder happened, he was at a party that I had, on Melrose. And I met him after the trial. We played golf in Florida. And I'll never forget, I said, Juice. I said, man, you know what they should be saying? Whatever happened to OJ? Where's OJ at? He said, Eric, I know. I said, man, you know. I said, you know he'll get you now. The man will get you if you keep it up. He said, I know, Eric. I said, okay. I said, you heard it. And sure enough, the man got him.
So this is what I told him 2 days ago when we first talked about OJ. I got to know O.J. back in the 70s, spent a whole week with him, and then interviewed him numerous times after that. And I got swept up in O.J.'s force field, as did you, because I've said he's as charismatic an athlete, maybe athlete or non-athlete, as I've ever been around. Am I right about this?
100%.
This guy
You
has
love him.
star power that just envelops you. As soon as you walk into his force field, you get caught up in his charisma. Again, I'm not defending him because I told you after his defiant act yesterday, I wouldn't have granted him parole after that. That's what we talked about to open the show. But I get, see, the fact that he distanced himself from the African American community doesn't matter to you because you know O.J. the guy to the point where you're captivated, man. You're in on O.J. because he's your friend, right?
Well, yeah,
he's different though.
I'll say this, but I said this earlier. And like I said, I did not watch the trial. I didn't watch anything on it. I walk by the TV and I see the trial on. I never sit down and like people sitting white and written. That was not mine. That was not me. I still feel like if he did those murders, I'm a big believer. If you kill someone, you should go to prison or possibly get the death penalty. I mean, that's me. If it's a heinous crime, that was a heinous crime.
This was butchered.
That was a heinous crime. So, I mean, I'm for that. I'm 100%. He should have been in jail for that. But I didn't see it, so I don't know all the details. So,
Do you still have a little thing up in the back of your mind that maybe he didn't do it?
No.
I don't know. I got to say again. I didn't watch it, and I don't know. I just hear it enough. And you hear all these, this person did it, some drug dealers did it, maybe this person did it. I mean, I don't know, Skip, and that's my honest opinion.
I think the thing is the prosecution messed up when they put Mark Furman on there. Because, see, here's the thing. One lie spoken is enough to question all truth subsequently spoken.
But the whole prosecution case was just a disaster.
Yeah, but they had a layup. But they wanted
the
to dump.
all-time layup.
Yes.
Well, I think what happened was Marsha Clark put, I think, 5 black women on that jury.
No.
And black women, like you just said, we know what they've done to us. Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna let you feel like let you see how we feel when they get away with it.
I said if they put one black juror on O.J.'s trial, I said he's not going. I said because they saw what happened with Rodney King and they saw what happened with the I think her name Latoya Harkins.
15-year-old.
Yeah, the 15-year-old she didn't steal anything.
Mm-hmm.
She was paying for it, and the lady pulled out a gun. So I said, if they get one, I said, he's going home. And then you had the dichotomy of O.J. and the white woman. He had black women on the jury. They wasn't convicting O.J. O.J. was walking up out of there, and I knew it. If you were black, you knew O.J. was walking up out of that courtroom, Skip. And there ain't no question about it. Do I believe he did it? Yes. But it doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what the state can prove. You had a layup. You don't draw the man's blood and then take it back to the crime scene. You don't do stuff like that. You don't put a known racist on the trial and say, when he says, I've never said the N-word, and then you get him on tape.
Got him.
Saying 50 times. They're like,
you're done.
The old lady said, I was just sitting.
I said, you can tell it. I mean, they say, you say that word, like, oh, we know what you think.
Yeah.
You know how you feel.
Somehow O.J. gonna come back and throw the glove on in his own yard.
So the juice is loose again.
Juice is loose.
And what do you predict? What happens to O.J.?
And like I said, I like O.J. Like you said, you get caught up in that force field of O.J. I feel like that, and I hate to say this, I feel like O.J. will get in trouble again. I hope he doesn't, but I told him last time.
I would agree.
I say, O.J., they need to say, whatever happened to O.J.? I haven't heard nothing for 20 years.
I'm getting me a cabin in Montana, Idaho.
No, really.
You ain't got to worry about me. Hey,
the party would come to me if I'm 70 years old. I'm too old, I'm too tired to go out anyway. Bring him to the house.
He got to be O.J. If you just saw the trial, he was defiant, as arrogant, and as narcissist as he was before he went in.
I didn't even see
parole
the
hearing.
parole.
Parole
So,
hearing.
was it parole? Because I didn't see that either. So was it?
Yeah.
Oh, he was
The O.J.
defiant.
He was just trying to tell him why
saying-
he
He
went
was not
to the room.
very self-aware.
Really?
That's an understatement.
Like I said,
He was trying to explain to him why he went to the room to get his stuff.
his stuff.
his stuff. Well,
Yeah, I think less is more general. I'm
Yeah.
not a lawyer, but I would think that's what you want to do. And the young lady's name is Latasha Harlan.
Yeah, Latasha Harlan.
No mercy. We're joined once again by Eric Dickerson.
We were just talking about his high school days, winning the 100 and 200 at Sealy. Is it Sealy High School?
Sealy High School. You got it a long time.
Famous mattress company.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, right? Sealy, possibly
And by the way, I was just going to ask him during the break, Your 100 time was what?
Well, we ran a 100-yard dash,
Dash.
in the district meet, and I ran a 9.39.
Woo.
And then when I got to the state meet, they took it to meters. I ran a 10-200 meters. It was, I never ran a meter before, and I ran a 200 too. I ran a 20.6 200. So I can run.
He can remember each of the decimals.
Of course, you
That's
you
bookie.
remember
Yeah.
that.
That's
Those days,
moving.
back in,
run the
that's back in the
400?
And you
70s.
weighed at that point.
I weighed about 212, 213.
That is flying for that size, right?
Did you run the 400?
Yeah.
too?
No, the 400 was not my race. I tell you, my daughter, she's running in the Junior Olympics next week, so I'm going there to watch her. She runs the 400 and 200, so I'm proud of her.
No, that is a tough race. Best of luck to her.
Thanks.
Let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott. Dallas police are suspending their investigation into an incident at a Dallas bar on Sunday night that allegedly involved Elliott. The NFL is currently looking into this incident and a domestic abuse allegation against Elliott from last summer. So Eric, Elliott turns 22 tomorrow. What advice would you give him?
Oh, man. I've been 20, all of us were 21 before Skip. I mean, you too, long time ago, all of us.
I was.
Try to stay out of trouble. I mean, look, you did things in high school I'm sure you got away with. Ohio State, no doubt, they covered up things there.
He didn't say no doubt.
You know the deal. You know how college is. And in the pros, look, this is a whole different level. And then you have these, and he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. So, my best advice, and I know Zeke, I know him well, I know his agent very well, to just tone it down some. Have fun, don't get me wrong. In my day, I had fun. I just loved the girls. That was my thing, chasing the girls. But I wouldn't get into fights, and that was not my thing. So I was just tone it down some. But I'll say this much here. I feel like that the reason that that all of this is happening is because, like I said, he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. And I know that's your football team.
It is my team, and it once upon a time was where you lived and played college football for the SMU Mustangs as the #1 running back recruit in the nation that year, right?
Right, exactly.
And so you got your taste of what it was like to be a pretty soon famous running back in the city of Dallas, Texas. How many more temptations are in Dallas than other cities you played in? You played in LA and obviously Indy.
Well, Dallas has so many temptations. I mean, it's a beautiful city, a lot of beautiful women. Look, when you go from college to pros, they're out there. I mean, not just the girls, the guys who want to sue you, possibly getting paid. You hit somebody in a car. I mean, they're out there. Dallas is a city that has a lot of distractions. No different from LA. I mean, no different from New York. But it becomes down to the player. I always say, my dad had a saying, it takes a second to get in trouble and a lifetime to get out. And that's a true statement because,
I think your grandfather might have said that.
He didn't say that one, but I like that one.
But it's true because, you do these things, then all of a sudden, let's just say he gets suspended 8 games. Let's just use those 8 games, a whole season. You never get that back, never. And you're hurting your football team, not just yourself.
You know what? Zeke is a man, he's a grown man, and he's responsible for his actions. But Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones have created this environment. Ever since he's on the team, if you weren't in jail on game day, Jerry would put you in the game. And basically what he's saying is that no matter what you do, it's okay as long as you can play on Sunday. And let's treat the Cowboys like a parent. Well, if I come home anytime I want to, I do whatever I want to, and my parents don't hold me accountable, what's going to stop me? See, if the NFL don't intervene, Jerry's not benching this. Jerry is not going to suspend him. Jerry is not going to take him out of the game.
No.
So the NFL is going to have to step in to say, look, you're doing too much. Because as you said, Skip, there's a whole lot of smoke. We might not see no fire, but in order to get to that smoke, there had to have been some fire at some point in time.
Had to be.
Now, maybe somebody put that fire out, and so that's why the smoke is going. But there was some fire there. And see, Skip, this started with Jerry, with Michael Irvin, with all those guys were getting in trouble. At the end of the day, if the NFL didn't intervene, Jerry put them out there on the field because Jerry was concerned about winning. That's why he will take guys with questionable character, especially if they can play. The Pac-Man Jones, the Greg Hardys. You're not touching those guys if they're just guys. But one guy had 16 sacks. One guy was the 8th pick in the draft. And you're like, well, hey, if we can get him at a discount, he can play. Put him in. If we don't put him in, somebody going to get him. Why not us reap the benefits? Jerry needs to change his mentality. I know you want to win. But like I said, he's the Al Davis of the South. Because no matter what you did, if you were able to play on Sunday, Al will put you in the game. And that's the same behavior we're seeing from. So Zeke's not going to stop.
No.
Until someone stops him. Yeah, I mean,
So, Eric Dickerson.
yes.
Way back in the 1970s, when I was just out of college, I worked for the Los Angeles Times, and I covered the Los Angeles Rams before you were even a Ram. And to me, going to those games at the Coliseum, your Rams had moved obviously down to Anaheim, but going to the games at the Coliseum, people in LA were blasé at best about the Rams' fate and fortune. They didn't really care because there are too many other distractions. And as you know, for the longest time, LA hasn't even had football, pro football. So my question is, as you were living and playing in Anaheim, obviously Orange County, to me, I don't think there would be quite the temptations, because there's not the idolatry that there is in Dallas for the Cowboys, where you are it. Even at SMU, to a degree, in Dallas, you are it. You are a big celebrity, a bigger celebrity because you don't have to fight with Hollywood as you were when you were a Ram. Not that you weren't. You were huge when you were a Ram, but there's something about being a Cowboy in Dallas that is more dangerous than being a Ram in the Los Angeles area.
I agree with you. I agree with you with that 100%. But, you know, when I played with the Rams in Orange County, I spent most of my time in L.A. I came to L.A. to go out. I came to L.A. to go to restaurants, to party. Every once in a while, I'd go out in Orange County, but it was very rare.
That's a long, hard drive on
that was
405,
long,
right?
But when you're 21 years old,
you
that
just
drive,
do it.
that drive seems like
Hey,
it's
what you was
nothing.
coming? What you was coming down for?
I was coming for, you know. Like I say, we didn't have these here. You know, you could talk about it. Well, I wasn't there. You got a picture? So the thing about being in Dallas, and you're right, being a Cowboy takes it to a whole different level. You might not like it. I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I have to call it like I see it. I'm a Jerry Jones fan, but Jerry does that. Just what you said. He's going to protect his players. He wants his players on the field. Now, if you're a guy that really is not playing, then you're going to be in jail.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to play. You're going to get suspended. We're not going to worry about you. But you're a top guy. You're Ezekiel Elliott or a Dak Prescott. We need you, and we need you on Sundays. And it does come to a point where you have to draw the line and say, hey, look, I can't keep getting you out of trouble. And everybody knows it. I mean, I think the guy that supposedly was the fight, all of a sudden, he disappeared. Well, you know what? You want some Cowboy tickets?
That's what Shannon said yesterday.
You want season tickets? Yeah. You got them.
Because think about it, Skip. Not only can I get a few dollars out of this, I might get some tickets, and I'm still a hero because I'm not the guy that got Zeke suspended. I think the NFL, I think they've seen enough. They see a pattern of behavior from Mr. Elliott that they're not comfortable with, and they're going to protect that shield. They're going to protect their 32 owners at all costs. So Zeke, we're going to have to sit you down for a little while because your behavior is getting a little bit out of hand. Because here's the thing, Skip, if you don't do something now, he's 21. He get to be 25 and he's done won an MVP or he wins a Super Bowl. Ain't no turning back from that. So you better get him now.
So let me ask you a question. I'll ask both of you this question. And you too, young lady.
Thank you.
Do you think they're going to suspend him?
Yes.
Yes.
How many games?
Yes.
I say 2 to 4.
Originally, I was 6 until they couldn't find the accuser. So those tickets worked, I guess. So I'm down in that 4 range right now, but I'm pretty sure there has been so much conduct unbecoming smoke with no fire. He is yet to be charged one time for one incident, not one charge, let alone a conviction. But there's so many incidents with so much smoke that Roger Goodell, I'm sure as we speak, is trying to build his case on the smoke, on what they think they know in the league office, and just say, enough is enough. We're going to put a stop to this with a 4-game suspension and hope that he, quote unquote, gets it through the 4 games.
But I think because there is so much smoke and not enough fire, while they may suspend him, he's going to appeal it, and I don't think he'll actually miss any games.
Oh, you don't?
Well, because there's no thing.
There's a lot of stuff,
There's a lot
but no
of stuff,
thing.
but there's no thing.
And I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
It's stuff. It's stuff. It's no proof. I mean, I think he pulled the lady's top down. I think
He did.
and there's no nothing. I mean, nobody filed charges there. I mean, he was going 100 miles an hour a couple of months ago,
He's appealing.
He's appealing that. So I mean, and I'm sure
There's no charges filed.
Yeah, and here's some more tickets. You want some more tickets over here?
But think about it. All the incidences that we keep talking about, what's the common denominator? Ezekiel Elliott. The top being pulled down. We had the assault allegations in Ohio, and in South Florida. We had
Domestic abuse,
Now,
yeah.
there's another bar fight that he allegedly got in last year that we didn't hear about, ED.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But
Not allegedly. He did.
I'm just saying, ED, we didn't hear
Wink,
about it.
wink.
We didn't hear about. All I'm saying is we got like 5, 6, 7 incidences, and we're not talking about cowboys. We're talking about cowboy. We're talking about one.
Cowboy. Yeah.
So here's my fear. Obviously, this is a gifted young man. I still think this is the most gifted running back who ever played. But,
yeah.
but you know who can play in this game, and he can flat out play.
Right.
My fear is he's going to be enabled and covered for and pass here and a pass there. And one of these times, he's not going to be so lucky, and he's going to hit bottom, because I'm not sure he's ever going to get it until he's going to be forced to get it.
He's got it.
Right?
I do agree with that. I mean, sometimes when you don't get in trouble, you get in trouble, nothing ever happens. You just get this and keep getting that and keep getting that. But all of a sudden, when you get this,
That's
you
a
know,
good
and
analogy.
you standing behind those for a while.
Well
then
said.
I've
that's
never
a different-
understood
that's
it
a
why
different look.
there's not a tougher precedent set because of everything that you always say about Dallas and everything that the Cowboys have had throughout their history. Why not just
Hey,
Jerry
come
want
in
one of them Super
strong?
Bowls.
I know that's not Jerry's
know what he
style,
wants.
but
You
I
know
mean,
what Jerry talks about, he likes to go, as he calls it, honky-tonkin'. He goes out, he's a party animal now.
yeah. Oh,
So he's got it in him, too. You know?
Jay.
Hey, he'll go out.
No mercy.
Tony Romo left the NFL at the end of last season and moved on to the CBS broadcast booth. Yesterday, he was asked about the possibility of playing again, and he didn't completely shut the door. Let's take a listen.
It's a situation where I feel great. I'm lucky to have the opportunity to work with someone like Jim Nantz, do the games. I'm passionate about the game. I'm excited about hopefully teaching some new things that I feel strongly about, and hopefully others will once they hear about it. And, like I said, I'm 99.9%
Skip, what does this tell you?
I love it. I love it, Skip. How about them Cowboys? Bang the how about them Cowboys?
How about that, Tony Romo? Here we go again. This just keeps rearing and rearing its ugly head. And this is an ugly head that gets reared here because Jerry Jones continues to say, I have no plans to honor Tony Romo because, and he flatly states this again and again, Tony is not retired. Tony has not filed his retirement papers. So here we go again. Yesterday, Tony Romo gives the Michael Jordan retirement percentage of 99.9%. I was there in Chicago in 1998 at a huge press conference at the United Center in which Michael retired and said, I'm 99.9% retired. And he was retired for 2 years.
Yep.
And then he came back and played 2 more years.
Yep.
Obviously, Tony Romo at 37 is not too old to play football. You have repeatedly made the very valid point, he's not in shape, and he looks more and more out of shape. I'm here to tell you, I'm not sure he was ever in shape while he was playing football, because he always had a little pot belly, and he seemed to be able to get away with it. They always called him a gym rat, but he's more of a gym rat playing off-season basketball than he was trying to play football at the highest level.
Fat shaming, Skip.
I am, but I'm just giving it to you the truth.
It is.
And then here's my issue with Tony on TV. I hope he's great as a color analyst on CBS. But the Tony I watched hundreds of times in interviews never struck me as all that entertaining or insightful, although he was always very careful just to say exactly the right thing to say at the right time. But I read a quote from Tony the other day that he said in some of the practice games that he's called, that his new CBS bosses said, hey, you're being a little too harsh in your criticism. I never heard Tony criticize anybody about anything. And the Tony, not that I don't know him, but the Tony I know of doesn't seem to have a critical bone in his body, but maybe I'll be surprised. So, hypothetically, what if, in fact, Tony struggles in the booth while Dak struggles on the football field? You believe he will struggle on the football field. You say the Cowboys will not make the playoffs. What if, without Zeke for, let's just throw it out there, 6 games, Dak does struggle because the team around him is struggling?
Correct.
I don't think that'll happen, but what if it does? What does Jerry love the most? Box office. Why did he stick with Tony Romo for 11 years as the starting quarterback? Box office. It's so convenient that it's too convenient. He's sitting right up there, Jerry. Again, he's going to do the Kansas City game midseason. So he still lives in Dallas, obviously. He's still just 10 minutes away. So would I be shocked if Jerry, going for box office, if they fall on their face the first 5 or 6 games, reaches back into time for Tony Romo? What did Jerry say the day after Aaron Rodgers beat my Cowboys? Actually, Mason Crossbar beat my Cowboys at Texas State, in Jerry World. What did he say? He said Tony Romo could have made every throw that Aaron Rodgers made yesterday. Did he not say that? And he believes it with all his heart
Absolutely
and soul
does.
because he wants to be proven right, because he bet the ranch on Tony Romo back in 2013 when he gave him all that money. Still paying him a lot of that money,
Yeah.
right?
Didn't have to play any of it back when he retired early.
That is a fact. So would Jerry say, I got my chance here? Sure he would. So would I be surprised? Again, I'm going to be surprised if Dak struggles, but again, maybe the situation would be a struggling situation. So I will not at all be surprised if Tony Romo comes back.
You know why he's 99.9? Because he's 100% certain that he didn't devote all of his time, his energy, and effort into being a great football player.
I will buy that.
The thing that I love most about Tom Brady, he had the 5 Super Bowls. Those are great accomplishments. The 400 touchdowns and the consistency. I love the fact that he goes to work every day saying, I need to give Bill Belichick a reason to keep me.
You think he has any regrets?
No.
Heck no.
He knows Tony Romo has the same opportunity as the greats that are dedicated. He had money, so that means he could hire the best chefs, the best personal trainers, the best physio, massage therapists, and devote his time. But in the offseason, Skip, playing pickup basketball, trying to qualify for the U.S. Open was more important to him than getting his body in tip-top shape to play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Skip, when I retired, and I know you're going to say, well, Shannon, you won 3 Super Bowls. I invested everything I had. My homeboys will tell you, I tell them, I said, look, you got 30 days to come see me. Because once I start training, I get into a frame of mind, Skip. I'm moody, I'm irritable, I don't want to be bothered. But I wanted to be able to say, whenever my career was over, when I walk by the mirror and I see that reflection of Shannon, I had no regrets. Tony has regrets because he's thinking now, what if I'd have worked out a little harder? What if I'd have ate a little better? What if I'd have just did that much more? There's something that he thinks he left on the table because he didn't clean the table to begin with. Skip, I tell people this. In order to be great, you must be willing to do what others can't or won't. And in most cases, you must do both. There's a price to be paid for greatness. Tony wasn't willing to pay that price. Other things were equally, or if not more important to him than being a great football player. Because he knew, like you said, he had his dad, Jerry Jones, I call him the fifth son, Tony Romo Jones. No matter what happened, Skip, he was going to be the quarterback whether he had 10% body fat or 25% body fat. He was going to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. And if Dak had stumbled at any point in time, Tony Romo was going to be back in there. But Dak played so well, even Jerry in his great conscience. And now maybe Jason Garrett, maybe Stephen Jones and some of the guys that sit around that table say, Dad, you can't do that. This young man is playing too well.
You're right about that.
But Skip, you can't tell me. You can't serve 2 masters, Skip. Either you'll love one and you'll despise the other. You can't say I want to be a pro football player, a quarterback for the National Football League, but in the same breath you're going to try and qualify for the U.S. Open. This got to be quarterback. It must be all-consuming. Ask Giselle what it's like to be married to Tom. Ask Ashley Manning what it's like to be married to Peyton during the offseason or during the season. And see what, and I bet you a dime to a bucket of cow manure, and I'll let you put up the cow manure, that his wife will tell you is different with Tony. Tony's around. Oh, he's eating Cheetos and cheeses with the kids. He's hog-nobbing in the backyard with the kids in the pool. Tom Brady's watching film. Tom Brady is in the gym getting ready. Peyton Manning was getting ready because they wanted to be great, Skip.
You know what tears me up about everything you're saying? Tony Romo was not the first or second pick in the draft. He was an undrafted free agent from nowhere, from Eastern Illinois. He was lucky to get his foot in the door in the first place, let alone to even make the roster.
Yes.
And usually that's the guy who's the overachiever his whole career. But he's another victim of Dallas hero worship. He became Tony. We talked about OJ's OJ. I mean, Tony Romo is still in Dallas. Not that he's in the OJ camp, but you know what I mean. He thinks he's Tony Romo, and it tore him apart to watch some kid from Mississippi State take his place in the Dallas sort of pantheon. All of a sudden, Dak was the toast of Dallas. No, I'm the guy. I'm Tony Romo. I've been starting for 11 years here. Don't you know me? Don't you remember? Tony Romo threw a party at midseason, just before he was cleared to come back, to remind his teammates. I think he invited all his teammates to the party. Remember whose team it is. It's my team.
Right.
And Dak withstood that kind of pressure and heat from the incumbent star.
And you think about it, Tom Brady trains like he's Mr. Irrelevant. He prepares like he's Mr. Irrelevant. Tony Romo prepares like he was the first pick in the draft. I got this. I'm not going anywhere. I got $55 million in guaranteed dollars. Says I'm not going anywhere, no matter what kind of condition I'm in. And we're supposed to think about this, Skip. Here's a guy that partially trained to be ready to go play football. So we expect him now, after eating Cheez-Its and Cheetos and eating animal crackers with the kids, he's gonna get up off his couch. Now there's some guys, I believe Adrian Peterson with 2 weeks, 3 weeks of training can get off his couch. Tony Romo is not.
I know, but he's in superb shape already. So you have that to fall back on.
And see, what happens is, Skip, he might go out there and look great the first day. But when you don't throw or when you don't do anything for an extended period of time, you get extreme soreness. Trust me for my guy. Because as hard as I trained, Skip, when we went to training camp, those first 3 days, man, you get out of bed, you got to practice. Ernest Binder used to joke, I said, man, yeah, EB, I got that old man going today. Knees don't want to bend, ankles a little creaky. And I'm supposed.
Hey, Joy knows.
Hey,
right? She's been a little sore this week. Right?
You talk about a guy that went to camp at 228 pounds with 5% body fat. Tony Romo, he got a 5 in it, but it's probably a 1 or a 2 in front of that 5.
There's a 2, definitely a 2.
And so, Skip, I just don't get. He knows he left some things on the table, and that's why he's uncertain.
You remember how painful it was to wean yourself off the fame and fortune of being an NFL player. You watched your brother have to go through. It is not easy. I've watched hundreds of stars go through it. Some are able to scratch the itch in this business.
Right.
You do to a certain extent. Maybe Tony will to a certain extent. Right. But it still doesn't do that for you, right?
Okay, but how about this? Let's hope he's more dedicated to broadcasting than he was football. Because I promise you, Skip, if he's not as devoted, if he's as like he is in this business, like he was that one, he won't be very good. You got to pay Skip. You got to work at this.
Well,
there are very few guys that are.
Might be how much he wants in the back of his mind to come back.
Come back to what?
Play football.
Dak said no.
Be the Dallas Cowboy quarterback.
Dak slammed the door in his face.
Well, he did for a while.
Dak caught him going up to Jerry's office and locked the door. He couldn't get in.
Yeah, but you think that Dak's going to unlock the door this year?
No, Dak got this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Also, Cowboys are.
No, you're still going 7. You're still going 9-7.
9-7.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got it at 9-7. I don't know.
He got it. Okay. But you got with that Zeke.
Okay.
You know Zeke gonna be. We're gonna have Zeke on the show the first week.
Oh,
Zeke gonna be sitting right there.
Be available?
I got told to Zeke.
Oh, he's gonna take your job.
No, he's gonna be sitting right there, Zeke.
Okay.
I feel like this is the never-ending saga with Tony Romo.
Well, it is, but it's
about
real.
This
man.
in 5 years.
But let me ask you a question. Whose fault is it? It's Jerry's fault.
It is Jerry's fault.
No mercy.
According to Bovada, Tom Brady is the favorite for this year's MVP award, even though he'll turn 40 in a couple of weeks. Brady is just ahead of Aaron Rodgers, who led the league with 40 touchdown passes last season. We're joined by Rob Parker. Welcome, Rob.
What's happening? Good morning.
Good morning.
Uh-oh.
Hey, before we get started, you asked me a question. I do have something.
Oh, no.
And I have one for everybody.
Okay.
Since we're talking about Tom Brady.
Oh, you got him official now.
Official low shirts, professionally made.
Luckiest of all time.
There you go. Look at the numbers.
2, 4, 5, 15, 17.
That's
all
actually-
luck.
that's
Pure luck.
All the years that he won.
He lucked into
Right?
5 rings.
That's
Okay,
yours.
I got the small.
You got the large, you got the extra large. There you go.
Skip.
Well, why did you get the all green one?
He got the Mitch Blood Money Green. What was his name?
Yeah, that's yep.
You know what, Rob? You never fail with the props. You really
There
don't.
you go.
Low.
All right, so I think
might
we'll-
have a ceremony after the show to burn this.
Don't do that,
Fine.
Skip.
Out in the courtart, I'm going to go burn it.
That's really important one day.
And Mike Harmon from Fox Sports Radio, he's the guy who
All
had
right.
those designed.
Way to go, Mike.
Very good.
Very good
job
job.
by Mike.
Very creative. So I think we know where you're going to go with this then.
What's the question?
Should Brady be the favorite?
No way, no how. How's
Really?
that?
Why not?
Come on. Tom Brady, first of all, is going to be 40 years old. And I understand prisoner of the moment, what happened in the Super Bowl, but let's go take a step back. Let's take a step back.
Okay, let's.
Matt Ryan had a historic season last year.
Yeah.
38-7, 117 passer rating. Shannon, 5th best in the history of the NFL. Is he going anywhere? I know people think about the Super Bowl and he's kind of a
Hangover.
Right? But he played great. He's not going anywhere. Aaron Rodgers, 40 touchdowns, 7 picks, had a biblical season. Biblical.
As in a flood?
You know, he got them. Remember, they were struggling early on.
Right.
He ran off, went to Detroit with the division on the line,
Yeah.
won the big game, did everything they had to do, and then went to Dallas and won that game. And I know it's playoffs and it doesn't count in the regular season, but still, Aaron Rodgers playing at the top of his game. Tom Brady should be the AARP MVP and get that free donut with a cup of coffee because
I'm writing this down. When it's my turn, I'm going to respond.
But he's 40 years old, and I think there's a time where it just stops for you.
Should he just quit
No,
now?
he shouldn't quit.
All right.
But this will be that year, and Tom Brady will look more like the Tom Brady of the first 3 quarters of the Super Bowl rather than the choke job that the Atlanta Falcons helped him in the 4th quarter.
Skip, and Rob, I do. I think he deserves to be the MVP.
Wait, you do?
Yeah, he does. He deserves to be because you treat it like the Tour.
To be the favorite.
Right,
yeah.
he should be the favorite. You treat it like the Tour de France. The winner from the previous year, he starts the next year in the yellow jersey.
I'm glad you said that because those guys go together.
Oh, Lord.
Skip, it is Skip.
Wait, are you now accusing Tom Brady of PED?
No, I didn't say
all right.
that. I'm just saying that there's a little monkey business going on with both.
Monkey business.
That's all.
I just think the thing is that when you look at what he was able to do, he missed 4 games and he played unbelievable once he got back. I think he was 28-2 touchdowns to interceptions. Got his team
Didn't
to
play
the,
anybody. Oh,
got-
I'm sorry.
But he got his team to the Super Bowl and he had a historic Super Bowl, especially the last quarter and a half.
Yeah.
And especially and you consider overtime, over 440 yards passing. So given that, Skip, Gronk will come back healthy. They added a lot of pieces. I believe they got even a little better on offense. So just on that alone, I think he should be the favorite going in. But like you said, Aaron Rodgers will play good. Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, they're going to be there for a while. But for Tom Brady not to be the favorite, I'm like, who would you think would be the favorite considering what you last saw from him?
So are you then predicting that Aaron Rodgers will then go ahead and win MVP? You're just saying Tom should be the favorite.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm just answering the question. Should Tom Brady be the favorite for MVP?
Okay,
MVP?
Shannon, who will win MVP next year?
We're
That's
gonna
not the question?
No.
Why not?
We're going to do that segment on Monday.
Oh, on Monday.
He's already
without Rob.
producing the show, right?
Yeah. So, Rob, you asked me to step back, and I'm going to ask you to step back for just a second. And I need you to explain to me that what about the bulk of Aaron Rodgers' season last season predicted that he's going to be the MVP this year? Because I got to tell you, the harder I look at this, the worse it gets. This is last year because you told me that New England doesn't play anybody. Well, Green Bay, do they play anybody? Because they played 16 games last year, and in the first 10, Aaron Rodgers was the starting quarterback, and Green Bay went 4-6. So he lost 6 games. And as I break down these 6 losses, if I just go on pure QBR, my favorite stat, Aaron Rodgers lost the QBR battle to the opposing quarterback 5 out of these 6 losses. 5 times he got outplayed, according to QBR, by another quarterback.
Is it how you start or how you finish?
Okay, but this is the greatest thrower of the football that you have ever seen, Not for me, it was Dan Marino. but actually just standing and throwing a football does not actually win the football game the way Tom Brady keeps winning football games. So I look at all these and I say, gee, at Minnesota early, he had a QBR, Aaron Rodgers did a 52.
They opened their stadium that day. It was a big day for Minnesota.
Then my Cowboys go up there with a rookie 4th-round pick and just dominate Aaron's team. And
it was too cold that day in Green Bay.
Yeah, it was like in October.
It was raining.
Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers had a QBR of 35, which was a season low. That's really, remember, scale 0 to 100. Then there was the shootout at Atlanta, which was sort of the predictor of the NFC Championship game, and Aaron played well, but Matt Ryan played a little bit better. And then Indy goes to Green Bay, and Andrew Luck's struggling against everybody except Aaron Rodgers, and he outplays them. And then, wait, at the Titans, Mariota, who's like way up and way down, outperformed Aaron Rodgers, who had a QBR of only 55. And even Kirk Cousins outperformed at Washington Aaron Rodgers.
But where are the last 8 games,
Six.
last six games and the game in Dallas where he made the play to beat them?
Okay.
They hadn't been losing all
He did.
year.
He also threw a pick to Jeff Heath and threw another ball that Jeff Heath had in his hands and could not hold on to that would have changed that game dramatically.
Did he catch it?
He didn't, but
Okay,
it was
then it didn't happen.
interceptable. It was interceptable. And somehow the great Aaron Rodgers allowed the rookie 4th-rounder to come all the way back. I can't remember what the score was. Like 21-3 or.
Did he let him come back
all the way
or
back
their
to
defense?
31-31? Well, he couldn't keep his foot on the gas enough to hold off the
And then
Dallas
what did he
Cowboys.
do? Got in the car again, sped off,
Yeah.
and then Mason, take it from here.
Wait, but you guys keep telling me Adam Vinatieri made Tom Brady. Well, then Mason Crossbar made
No.
Aaron Rodgers. Did he not?
No.
He saved him.
What
with
Rob,
he made one from, what was it, 51 and 55? Are you kidding me?
What Rob and I say is that you say when Adam Vinatieri makes a field goal, he was doing his job. Mason Crossbar. Or you say, well, Tom Brady got him in range. Aaron Rodgers got him in range.
Range? That
Yes.
was home on the range.
Okay,
he kicked it all the way to Lubbock.
How far
I mean, he did.
How far was
Seriously.
the field goal that Adam Vinatieri made against the Rams and the one he made against Carolina? Were they like
Rams
30 yards?
49.
48. Yeah, 48, 49 yards.
Was that after the kicker kicked the ball out of bounds and set them up?
That was against John Casey against Carolina.
Carolina.
So the great Aaron Rodgers, as I told you guys the other day, since his lone Super Bowl victory is 5-6 in the postseason, and in the 6 losses, he has yet to throw for 300 or more yards in any of those 6 losses, including last year's NFC Championship game. He threw for 287, but it was a shootout, and it wasn't nearly enough because Matt Ryan had an MVP type of game because he threw for 392 to Aaron's 287, and of course Atlanta won big, 44-21. So did that predict that Aaron Rodgers should be the favorite for MVP?
Yeah, because
I think not.
I think the way that Aaron Rodgers finished the season, where they ran off all those wins, they had to win every week to get to the playoffs. Every week they were behind, and then to go into Dallas on that stage where Skip, you didn't believe that the Packers were going to go to Dallas and win.
I did.
Right?
He did. I did not.
And for Aaron Rodgers to perform and make the big throw to win that game, he made the big throw.
Okay.
You saw Aaron on the side. He opened up that can.
That's right.
Did
that
he?
whip butt.
Yeah.
And took that. He took that bit out. Dang!
So my final point is, I used this the other day on Shannon. I'm going to use it on you.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Pro Football Focus has a system whereby it ranks quarterback seasons. And in the history of its system, Tom Brady's last season, this 2016, was the best season they've ever had ranked by their system. Last year's regular season. So wouldn't that predict that Tom Brady should be the Super Bowl?
No, it doesn't,
MVP?
because Tom Brady, again, is going to be 40 years old. And last year, if you go look at that schedule, he didn't play anybody.
I mean,
wait, they played in the Big 12 last year. Is that right? I don't remember. Did they play in the Big
AFC
12?
East.
Oh, okay.
AFC least.
I mean, that's what you say about the NBA East. Well, you say, LeBron James has a cakewalk.
Wait,
Tom Brady has a cakewalk every year as well.
Aaron Rodgers is playing the Lions and the Bears, and you're telling me
Minnesota's
cakewalk?
defense, you
Oh,
said?
Minnesota
The Jets,
fell on their
the
face.
Dolphins,
The Dolphins were in the playoffs
Sam
last year.
Bradford?
The Dolphins
Sam
were in
Bradford?
the playoffs last year.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Come on, Sam Bradford.
Shannon,
Geno
I need
Smith?
you to acknowledge this.
What?
You say this every time.
What?
I know it's confusing because it's been a long time since they were in the playoffs. But they were in the playoffs last
But the
year.
last time they were in the playoff, you were a teenager.
Last year
Yeah.
is the last time they were in the playoffs.
Prior to last year, you were a teenager.
I'm grown.
You couldn't even drink. You could drink now. You couldn't even drink the last time they made the playoffs.
That's ancient history.
No mercy. Thanks for checking out the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Be sure to catch us same time on Monday when John Bones Jones joins the show. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports, one of one.